iron in their soul.
What's up, YouTube? This is your brother King Jabez, back today with another very important message. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video, leave a comment, let me know what you think about my content. In addition to that, please feel free to follow me over on Instagram at The King Jabez, as well as my website, theironandsoul.com. It will be greatly appreciated. Let's do some work. Let's talk about today, just really break down, and I don't want to take too much of your time. This is a good Saturday message. 15, I know that's a lot, 15 undeniable signs, characteristics, traits, whatever word you want to use, that you, I'm pointing at you, Lil Wayne voice, you are chosen one. Now, before you get, I can see some of you already, I don't know about this, I don't know if I fit all 15, before you get nervous about that, you don't have to have all 15 of these to qualify. But I'm pretty certain that if you are chosen, you will experience at least half of these, right? So I'm gonna give you some grace here. So if you don't have all 15, you got about 7, 8 of these if you're chosen. And so let's get into this. I trust this will give you some perspective for your life. This will give you some hope, some motivation, some encouragement. And if nothing else, it'll give you some food for thought on this Saturday. Okay, number one. You've had one or more, several near-death experiences. This seems to be a pretty universal experience for chosen ones. It's because there are dark forces out there that really want to take you out. They don't want you to be here. And so you may have battled with suicidal thoughts throughout your life. You may have had, close calls with car accidents. I remember when I was like 6, 7 years of age, out in Maywood, hometown Maywood, Bearwood, from the woods, and a car, got really close to hit me. So much so that my mother, I remember when the car stopped, and thank God it has some good brakes. I would put that way. Whoever you were, man, praise God, you got them brakes changed. You did. I would have been gone. And you heard the brakes from, let's just say my house was maybe 10 houses from this busy street going to a park. And this was actually the park that eventually was transformed into, they had like Reeboks on the court and whatnot. This was something that Michael Finley did. For those who are from the town, Michael Finley was a pro basketball player from Maywood. And he had revamped this park out there, right? I was going over there, like another kid decided to go, right? Just kind of being a kid, not paying attention. And I almost got hit by a car. I mean, we talking like, this is me. This car was like that close, near-death experience. And my mother was hollering, screaming. She came running because she just thought I was gone because of all the noise, commotion. And so, I've had that type of stuff happen to me a lot in my life. And so when you're a chosen one, you got to realize that there's a real devil and demons that don't want you here. And so you have had at least one near-death experience, if not more, in your lifetime. Number two, and these are not in order of importance, I'm just chopping up on a Saturday. Number two, you tend to have an extreme personality, right? You're not if you're anything like me, you are either 10 toes down or you're not going to fool with it. You go extreme at whatever you do. And that's a sign of a chosen one. You're committed. You're dedicated. You can't really straddle the fence. Either you with it or you not. And so the positive to that is that you're dependable. You're reliable. People know if they give you something, you got it. The problem with that is sometimes you run people over on the way to get there because you're so goal-oriented. I'm talking to you now. You're focused. You're driven. And when you're like that, you sometimes struggle with how you interact with other people. And you can offend people, even when it's not your intention. You tend to, you have a high standard, and you have to understand that you can't put that standard on everybody. This is your standard. You're called, you're chosen. Everyone's not called to do what you're called to do. And so you have to be careful with your extreme personality. And so this can offend people. And at times this can isolate you. And I'll get to that in a little bit later in this message because of the magnitude of your call. And so you tend to be kind of like Kobe Bryant. Kobe was extreme, right? That's why he was so great, but he would run people over. I mean, Kobe, I'm doing this and you get my way, I'm going to eat you alive. And so chosen people tend to be very extreme, and that has to be balanced out with love and compassion for other people. That's number two. This goes into number three. Number three, you tend to be moody, right? You have real high highs and low lows as a chosen one. And this comes for a number of reasons. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'll explain why a little later in this video. But number three, you tend to be moody, right? You have these mood swings because you face a spiritual pressure that other people don't face. You go through things others don't go through. And granted, life is hard for everybody. I understand that. I'm not saying that it's hard for us and easy for everybody else. It's hard for everybody. But in your case, you go through things that just are different. And you have burdens you carry that are not common to everybody else. And so you tend to see things differently. And this creates a pressure, a frustration, an aggravation that makes you moody at times, right? And this can be something that hinders your relationships with other people. And I'll get into that too, because a lot of these points, I'm struggling with how to articulate this, because these 15 points, they all go together. And I don't want to speak too much on the next point before I get to it. But I'm going to explain very clearly why you're moody in other points and why you go through this. And so if you are a chosen person, you go through extreme, mood swings at times because of the nature of your calling. Okay, number 4, you are a burden carrier. And carrying these burdens is one of the reasons why you tend to be extreme with your personality. You have like this invisible spiritual weight that's on your shoulders, and you carry that. And that's what it means to be chosen. You have a weight, there is a capacity and depth to you that the Most High has put in you. And so that can at times make you be extreme. It can lead to moodiness, can lead to depression, because you have an assignment, you have a purpose in this world that is so big, and it's not easy for everybody to carry. And so with that being the case, kind of like lifting weights, if you are lifting heavy weights, it's going to be very difficult at first. But as you get stronger, the weights become more, easy to deal with. So for example, if you bench press 300 pounds, I did that when I was in college playing basketball. I was only 185, by the way, at the time, too. So it's not always how big you are, it's your heart and mind. Give you that piece for your weightlifters. It's more about your spirit than anything. I was 185, lifting 305. And that was really heavy at that time. Now, years later, at my big age, it's easier. Why? Because I have lifted that weight. I've carried that weight for many years now. So that's just an analogy of what happens in your spirit on a much deeper level than lifting weights. Your life. God will at times put burdens on chosen people. He gives us assignments, responsibilities that are, man, this is heavy. God, why are you doing this to me? It's hard. And that leads to the moodiness. That leads to the extreme personality you have, because you got to be extreme to be who you are. And so you're going to read more than the average person. You're going to pray more than the average person. You're going to think deeper than the average person. You're in a real sense, you are built different. That's not to say you're better than nobody. We're not saying that, but you're built different. You're different. You talk different. You act different. I remember one time a coworker told me this at work. He said, "No, man, you're different, man." He said, "You talk different. You walk different. You act different. You have a vibe about yourself that says, I'm not better." Because people often, and I got to stress this, because people often think different means better, right? And this is why people get offended by you, and they think, who do you think you are? I'm not better than you, but I am different than you. We're not the same. And that doesn't mean that I'm better than you. And you have to understand that I am different. I act different. I talk different. I think different than you. I operate differently than you do. And that's not because I'm better. It's because the Most High has put these burdens on me, and He has chosen me. He has chosen you for this task. Number 5 and 6 really go hand in hand, so I'm going to give you these two together. Number 5 is that you tend to be defensive a lot. And number 6 is you're always going through a trial. And these two go hand in hand. When you are a chosen one, you find yourself consistently going through difficulty. It's because the Most High wants to build some strong character in you that only comes through hard times. And so you're always being attacked. And because you're always being attacked, isolated, alone, you're going through this in your spirit, you tend to be defensive. And you're not defensive because you're insecure. You're defensive because you actually do feel. In other words, you have not allowed life to make you cold like so many people. So many people out here, they don't feel no more. They don't care. They are, when they say unbothered, they mean that. They are unbothered. They have no emotion. They don't care about others. It's like looking into some cold eyes. Whereas you're not like that. You actually still care. See, you don't understand how powerful it is that you actually care. So many people, they don't care anymore. It's all about them, and that's it. But the fact that you have a desire to make the world better, to help people to live righteous, you're rare. You know how LaMelo Ball got the tattoo on his arm? Rare? You're rare. Everybody ain't like you. Trust me, I can tell you. At this point in my life, I done met a lot of people. Okay? And some people out there, they are cold. They don't care about you. You understand? And so when you are chosen, you actually feel. And so you're defensive because you're constantly being attacked. And the reason you're being attacked is because there are dark forces out there, demons and Satan, to be more direct, that want you to be like them. They don't like you being righteous. They don't like you doing the right thing. So the objective is to make you evil. That's the goal, is to make you like everybody else. And so you're constantly being attacked and pushed to a corner like, come on. It's kind of like devil saying, come on, he hit you. Like, come on, get back. Be evil. Be evil. Curse. Do something wrong. You're constantly trying to be pushed to the corner, and you're back in the corner fighting and saying, no, I'm not doing that. That's a chosen person. That's you. I'm talking to you now. You're chosen. Because there's an agenda to make you evil. You dig? And God's like, no, this one's different. You can't have this one, devil. You can't have him. You can't have her. They're different. That's what it is by chosen. You have literally been chosen by God. It's like, you got all these people out there, and God says, you. Yeah, you, come here. You, sis, bro, I got something for y'all. You all different. And so when you are that, prepare for a lot of attacks. Prepare to always be going through trials and hardship, because you have to be purer than the average person. You have to be stronger. You have to be wiser. You have to be more useful. And so you're going to consistently face attacks, and this will sometimes lead to you being defensive. Point 7, you will endure a lot of unfair or mistreatment. Number 8, you have very strong judgment or discernment. So 7 and 8 go hand in hand. You're constantly enduring mistreatment, things that are not fair. And because of that, your discernment increases. And so you're consistently going through trials. You're consistently facing pain, isolation, thinking differently. Because all the pain and isolation and suffering leads you to do what? To watch videos like this. To read books, to write, to reflect, to journal, to meditate. All of that suffering leads you to find some type of peace somewhere. And because of that, your discernment will increase. Discernment essentially means good judgment. So in other words, you're not suffering for just no reason. I said it in my last video. The purpose of your suffering and trials is to give you this new level of discernment where you see things clearer than the average person. Right? And when you're going through this is going to make you wise. This is going to make you smart. This will create opportunities for you. This is how you're going to get your wealth. Right? Your wealth is going to come from the treasures that are in you that have come through hardship. Treasures and gold are refined in fire. So as you go through these hard times, as you face that mistreatment, you learn more about people. You have these different experiences, and all of those experiences will increase your discernment. And the wiser you get, the smarter you get, the more like the Most High you become, you are now positioned to do something great. Point 9 and 10. You have dealt with a lot of rejection, and you don't have many friends. And so rejection is something you will experience a lot. It's because you don't fit in. And this is even with your own family. You never fit in. You were always different. And everyone always knew that, even your own family. And they just thought it's because you were arrogant. They just thought because you think you're better than me. That's how people's mind works. That's their level. They can't see that you're just different because that's the way God made you. It has to be a negative. So more than likely when you are chosen, like Joseph, like Moses, you will be rejected by your family. Same thing with Queen Esther. Same thing with Ruth. You're rejected. You'll be rejected by friends. Your community won't really accept you. And so in that place of rejection, this is where you learn to tap into your superpowers. This is when you become who you are and begin to use those talents, begin to use those treasures, And this is what will begin to open those doors for you. So, as a chosen one, you will endure a lot of rejection. Point 11 and 12. You tend to be isolated in your relationships and at times overly serious. You can be seen as overly serious. And sometimes people just, they can't get with what you got going on. It's because you think differently than the average person. A lot of people don't think on a higher level. And so when you have a strong insight into the spirit world and natural and life itself, this can isolate you in relationships. And it becomes difficult for you to connect with people in ways that they understand. And this is a area where we have to mature and grow and develop. And these two characteristics, traits, experiences with chosen people, we can navigate through both of these, in my opinion, by manifesting love and compassion and understanding for other people. That's it. You do think differently, but understanding that should make you more loving and more of an understanding person as opposed to being a judgmental person. Point 13 and 14. You are a man or woman of principle, and you tend to communicate in ways that others don't understand. Because of your standards you have and the characteristics you have built over time through all your various experiences and learning and growth and development, you tend to struggle sometimes to communicate in ways that the common person can understand. And so we'll often say, well, I'm not going to dim my light. And there is some truth to that. We shouldn't dim our lights. We should let our light shine and be who you're supposed to be. But at the same time, we have to be wise enough to take the high level intelligence God's given us, the brain we have, the higher way of thinking, and bring it down to a way where others can receive it. Doesn't mean you dumb yourself down, but it means that you are skilled enough to speak in other people's languages. In other words, think about, for example, Malcolm X. Malcolm X could talk at a level of a college university in front of several thousand college students. And Malcolm X was also known to go in the community, in the hood, in Harlem, and do rallies with people right there on the streets. That's chosen. Having the ability to communicate in different ways to different people. And that's a sign of high intelligence, and I want to encourage you to be that type of person. Since you are a man or woman of principle, learn how to make those principles understandable to the average person. And that's a sign of wisdom, discernment, and overall just love, compassion for others. Point number 15 in closing. Point 15, for those who stayed this far, I want you to type in the comment section, I'm still with you. Point 15, I want to see that in the comment section for those who are this far into the video. Point 15, you tend to at times be negative because of your disappointment with humanity. You know what people are capable of. You know the power that's in each individual, and it disappoints you when you see people operating, acting in such a low vibration. Because you know in your mind, I know you're better than this. I know that's not the way God made you. And you could become negative and criticize a lot. You could become very, if you're not careful, condescending. And as a chosen one, we have to learn how to navigate through that and help people grow. In other words, we have to be patient with ourselves and with other people as they grow. We have to give people room to grow. If they're not the level that you think they should be at or where you may be at, wisdom is coming alongside that person and helping them get there as opposed to being negative and judging. So those are my 15 signs that you are a chosen one. I trust this was a blessing to you. Leave a comment below. This is your brother King Jabez. Thanks for listening. God bless. Peace.